La 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 la, wait till I get my money right.
Hello, and welcome to the UW Whitewater VITA program. Today we'll be discussing tax education credits. There's the American Opportunity Credit and the Lifetime Learning Credit. We will also be showing you how to enter these credits into the Drake Tax software program. So let's get started.
Hi everyone, my name is Jenny and I will be talking about the American Opportunity Credit with you today. The American Opportunity Credit is the better of the two credits that we will be discussing. This credit allows for a maximum benefit of $2,500 per year, and a student is allowed to claim this credit for 4 years of post-secondary education. The nice benefit of this credit is that it is considered 40% refundable, which means that even if you have a zero tax liability, you still get up to $1,000 of this credit. In order to qualify for this credit, you need to meet the following requirements. You need to be pursuing a degree at an eligible institution, be enrolled at least part-time for one academic period, not have finished 4 years of post-secondary education before the beginning of this tax year, and not have a felony drug offense at the end of the tax year. Once you have met those requirements, in order to claim the credit, you also need to have paid qualifying higher education expenses, which will be discussed later in this video. The expenses had to be for an eligible student, as we just previously mentioned. The eligible student has to be the taxpayer, spouse, or dependent, and additionally, if your client is being claimed as a dependent, they themselves cannot take the credit, rather their parents have to. The income limits for claiming this credit are: if you are married filing jointly, your modified adjusted gross income is less than $160,000, you can claim the full credit. If your MAGI is more than $160,000 but less than $180,000, the credit will be reduced. If your MAGI is over $180,000, you have no credit available. If you are filing single or head of household and your modified adjusted gross income is less than $80,000, you can claim the full credit. If your MAGI is more than $80,000 but less than $90,000, the amount of the credit will be reduced. If your MAGI is over $90,000, there will be no credit available. Additionally, if you are married filing separately, you cannot claim any education credits at all. Now, as mentioned earlier in this video, we will be discussing qualified versus non-qualifying expenses. Qualifying expenses for this credit are tuition, enrollment fees, and course materials. Non-qualifying expenses are insurance, medical expenses, including student health fees, room and board, transportation, and any similar personal, living, or family expenses. You need to make sure to reduce any qualifying expenses by the amount of the student's tax-free scholarship if they have received one. And now we will move on to the Lifetime Learning Credit.
Hi everyone, my name's Stephanie and today I'm going to be teaching you about the Lifetime Learning Credit. If you do not qualify for the American Opportunity Credit, then you should consider whether or not you qualify for the Lifetime Learning Credit. This credit has a maximum of $2,000, but you can also use this one indefinitely. You do not need to be seeking a degree to use this credit, and it's also non-refundable. To be eligible to claim the Lifetime Learning Credit, the taxpayer must have paid qualified education expenses of higher education. The taxpayer must have paid the education expenses for an eligible student. And the eligible student is either the taxpayer, their spouse, or a dependent for whom they claimed an exemption on their tax return. They cannot claim this credit if the filing status is married filing separately, if they are listed as a dependent on another person's tax return, such as their parents, or they have claimed another education credit. Income limits do apply to the Lifetime Learning Credit. If you are filing single, head of household, or qualifying widower, and your MAGI is over $65,000, then you do not qualify for this credit. If you are married filing jointly, then your maximum MAGI is $131,000. The qualifying expenses for this credit are identical to the American Opportunity Credit. If you need to review these, please refer to earlier in this video. Now we will show you how to enter these tax credits into the Drake Tax software system.
Hi, my name is Cari, and now we're going to show you how to enter the credits. This is the main data entry screen, and up at the top, you're going to click on the second credit tab. Then go down the list and click on the link for Form 8863 Education Credits. This screen will pop up. Here you will enter all of the info relating to the credits. The top you will fill out for the student that incurred the education expenses. This may be your client or perhaps their child. Next, you will answer the questions to the best of your knowledge. If there is any information you do not know, you should ask your client, or you can use the 1098-T. This is the 1098-T form. Your client should have given you this during your initial interview with them. Down at the bottom, these two boxes can help answer some of those questions if you and the client are unsure. Once you have the questions answered, it should be clear which credit your client qualifies for. You then check the box of that credit. If the client doesn't qualify for either credit, check the tuition and fees deduction box. Next, you will enter their expenses in the first box in this area. This information will come from the 1098-T. The student's expenses will come from either box 1 or 2 on the 1098-T form. Box 5 on the form will have any scholarships or grants the students received. This amount should be subtracted from the expenses amount and enter it in the first box in Drake. If the scholarship amount is larger than the expenses, they no longer qualify for any credit. Ask the advisors on how to handle this situation. Next, you'll fill out the info on the school they attended. Again, this will come from the 1098-T. The filer's information boxes will have the address and the EIN of the school. You'll fill out these two bottom questions and the due diligence section. Here is a sample of a completed form. Lastly, you're going to want to check on the link for the 8867 due diligence form. This screen will pop up. If this screen is not filled out, the system will give you a diagnostic error when you try to submit the return. Only the AOTC column must be completed relating to the AOTC credit. Answer all of the questions to the best of your ability without the client's help. You must also fill out this bottom section of the form. Once you have completed these steps, view the return to make sure everything has properly flowed to the forms.